Hello from England. English people are usually very friendly, but do not normally invite strangers into their homes and castles. However, Michelle made an exception for viewers of Krasno TV.
It's Conaway's Hoop End Tetney. Go straight down Church Lane. As you turn to go to Hoop End, I live in the little cream cottage right on the very corner.
Lovely. I was made welcome with a very nice cup of tea and a chat about her life here in England.
Hello.
Would you like to tell us about yourself?
I will indeed.
About the life's little ups and downs in this country?
Yes, I will indeed.
Like, where were you born, for stuff?
I was born in a little place not far from here, and I lived there for not many years, and we moved when I was about 2 to near the seaside.
Oh, nice. And what sort of school did you go to then?
I went to a school when I very first was 5 years old, and then we moved here where I live now when I was 8, and I went to the local school, which now is a little residential area. It was like an real old type school. It had a great big open fireplace in one of the classrooms, and it was just had 3 classrooms, and I stayed there till I was 11. Then I went to big school and left there when I was 16.
Oh. Thank you. And are you married?
I am married, yes. I've been married for 21 years.
And you've got some children,
I've got 2 boys. One's age 24 and one's age 29 years old.
And what do they do?
Benjamin's a joiner, and he works away. He doesn't live far from me. And my other son still lives at home, and he has an eBay business, which he started in his bedroom with a box of candles and has built it up from there.
All right. And what sort of work did your husband do?
My husband was a market gardener from the age of 16 years old. He used to help his dad on the land when he was growing up as a young boy. And when he left school, he decided that's what he wanted to do. So they used to grow their own cabbages, carrots. We used to supply across the river in Hull things that we'd grown on our land, because we have 2 fields. And we had a stall on Freeman Street Market, which we had for many, many years, which was started by his nan and his granddad.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of work does he do now?
He's now a lorry driver. As the years have gone by, there's been no call for growing your own vegetables. There was not enough money in it, so they decided to call it a day. And he now drives HGVs, delivering wheat, picking different things up, sugar beet. Some days he's home, some days he's out, depending where his work takes him.
And is this a good job, do you think?
Yes, it's a good job. It's long hours. It's very tiring sometimes. I don't think that lorry drivers are appreciated as much as they should be. But yes, on a whole, it's not a bad job.
And is your husband's income adequate for paying all normal bills like gas and electricity?
Yes, it is.
Water,
yes,
food, council tax?
Yeah.
In your family, you also work, do you not?
I do. I work in the local shop.
And I think you've got 2 jobs, I believe.
I have got 2 jobs, yes. I work in the post office on a Thursday, Friday and every other Saturday. And I work in the actual shop on a Monday and Tuesday. I do evenings.
Right. Is this because one income is not enough, or is it for the little extras that make your standard of living much better?
It's for the little extras. We couldn't really manage without my wage, without our little extras, holidays and nice bits you want to buy and whatever, yeah.
And do you and your husband go out to eat often, or does the income not stretch that far?
We do go out to eat. We don't do it very often. We try to do it as a family, so that we go with my 2 children and their partners. We enjoy that sort of eating out rather than just the 2 of us.
How about going to the pub? Does your husband go?
Andrew goes to the pub, yes, he goes to the pub on a Saturday and Sunday evening. I don't go to the pub because I find it very boring and I don't drink a great deal. So not a thing I've ever done, unfortunately. He drinks enough for both of us.
And do you think you're typical English?
I am typical English, yes.
Yeah. Do you and your husband smoke?
No, we don't smoke, never have done. Disgusting habit. So no, we don't. My daughter-in-law did smoke before she found out she was having a baby. So out of the whole family, she was the only one that did smoke.
Has your maid in this house?
Well, in this particular house, we've lived here for 2.5 years, nearly 2.5 years. We originally decided that my father-in-law got poorly and he needed looking after. So rather than put him into a nursing home that lots of people do, we decided that we would try and get planning to have our outbuildings all turned into a small annex for us to live in, so that we were enabled to look after him. So we managed to get planning. My son built most of it. We had a builder. We used all local tradesmen, people that we knew and people that we trusted and that we knew would do a good job. My father-in-law lived in the old part of the house, which is well over 350 years old. We built 2 new rooms, which was the kitchen and which is now our bedroom. The rest of it was part of all the old original buildings. I have a beam in my lounge that is over 350 years old, and we found bits of wood in the lounge that when we chipped away at brickwork, it was all old. And we decided that we would keep it because we like the originality of it. I love this house. I have a freshwater spring outside my back door. We in fact have 2, but one of them was blocked up because we didn't want 2 lots of freshwater springs running. That has been there for years and years and years, and I've never ever known it to dry up. In all the years that I've been in this house, we used to visit, the kids used to come and play here when Andrew's dad was alive. So yes, I love it. Even though it's a huge house and I will never probably use all of it, the little bit that I've got, I love. So.
Did you get any grants for alterations?
Not on our part, no. When my father-in-law was alive, and because of his age, he had an outdoor toilet. We was able to get him a grant for a new roof, to have a bathroom fitted upstairs, and the whole house was rewired because it was that old, and it all needed doing. But the main part of it was because he had a downstairs toilet, and it wasn't really practical. So other than that, there's not a lot else I can tell you about it, really. It's got nice bit of land with it, nice garden, and it's lovely in the summertime.
And you're not in the middle of a city?
And we're not in the middle of the city. We can walk up the road and we're in lovely green fields, which I've got a Labrador, which she loves.
A Labrador's a...
Labrador is a dog.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. It's not necessarily that the Russian people would know that if you just say it's a Labrador, they'd know it was a dog.
Of course, yes. Never thought of that.
Have you any other animals?
I have a cat called Tilly. She's black and white, and she's quite a very, very timid cat. And when we let her out when we go to bed on an evening, we always let her out, and you can guarantee about 4 in the morning you hear. And she'll stop and you'll hear. And she sits outside my bedroom window on my flower trough, patting her paw on the window to let us know that she wants to come in. So I have to get out of bed and let her in. And she does that every single night.
Good grief. Thank you.
Not crazy.
Oh, no. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I didn't learn to drive a car till I was 34. I never thought it was important. But living out here, I realised that we weren't going to get anywhere. I'm sick to death of relying on people to take me places. So I learned to drive and passed first time.
Nice. The price of a litre of fuel
Horrendous.
has increased in the last year or so and is now at the high level of approximately £1.40 for a litre of 95 octane, this so-called green petrol. What are your thoughts on this problem?
Well, it's horrendous. It's absolutely disgusting. You know, in other countries it's not as expensive as this, and the government are taking more money off you know, local people. People can't afford to run a business. Small businesses going under every day because, i.e. lorry drivers, you know, small haulage companies, they just cannot afford to to fill their lorries up.
Would you say that the government's estimation of inflation is realistic, or do you think that they count in the wrong things and not the normal things that we all have to pay?
I just don't think they give a monkeys. You know, they get richer. You don't see them struggling. It's the poorer people that seem to get poorer. We don't have any benefits from them at all. You know, I'd like to see them be able to come and live for a month in a typical household and see how they would manage.
Do you think our system of government is okay or not?
No.
Or is it because the government don't seem to be able to make changes quickly enough to offset recession or inflation?
Well, no, they don't do anything quick enough. It seems to take them an awful long time, and when they do manage to get there, they never seem to get it right. You know, they just don't get it right. They're absolutely useless.
Do you believe this country will be able to cure its overspending in the next 10 years?
No, I don't. No, they hasn't managed to do it for the last 3 years. You know, I mean, especially if us normal people suffer, you don't see them suffering. You know, it's always us.
Yeah. Do you know that there are more than 5 million people in this country below the so-called poverty line? That is, they don't have enough income to adequately feed themselves or heat their homes?
I didn't know how many. I know there are those people that do exist out there, and I have heard the phrase where they say they don't know whether they're going to be able to eat or heat because some of them cannot afford electricity, they can't afford their fires on, especially the elderly. This is why I think sometimes the winter fuel allowance enables them to have a little bit extra to keep them warm. I just think, you know, the price of food, the price of electricity, you know, it's difficult for them. They're going up all of the time. You know, where does it stop?
What do you know about homelessness in Britain?
Not a lot. I have seen people, the homeless, that are begging on streets, that sleep rough, basically just because when you go into town, there's those that have been sleeping out all night and who are asking for a few pence for a drink or whatever they decide to spend their money on. So no, I don't know a lot about the homeless. I know that there are a few in Grimsby, as I used to work in Grimsby, and there was a place that used to take these people and give them a square meal a day.
Yeah. Do you think the government is doing enough to combat this?
No, I don't think they're doing enough. But then again, the homeless people, some of them want to be homeless, some of them run away, some of them don't have anywhere to go. But I don't think there's enough backup to help them get back into real society.
What else do you believe then that could be done about this?
There could be places that they open. There could be places that can provide them with bed, a bit like the YMCA places. You know, a few more of them places, if a few more of them places existed, or there was a bit more education, then these people might not have to live homeless. Because, I mean, some of them, like I said earlier on, they run away, they don't want to live at home, they don't want a normal life. But there are those people that are made homeless through no fault of their own because they lose their jobs, they can't afford to live in houses, they can't afford to eat, they can't afford to heat. They've got nowhere else to go, so what are they expected to do?
Yeah. Thank you. Let's move along then. Well, do you eat porridge?
No, can't stand the stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's one gloopy mess, as far as I can see. They reckon it fills you up and gives you energy throughout the day. I've tried it maybe once or twice, and it was a load of twaddle. Made no difference whatsoever, I didn't think. I much prefer a piece of toast.
Right, thank you. Oh, all the Russians think that the English all eat porridge.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I don't know why they would think that either.
No.
It must be a myth.
And they also think that it's extremely foggy in England. What do you think of that?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, we do have mist, we do have fog, but not that often. I suppose there are places that you can go to where it's misty and foggy, but not in particularly around this area.
We did not get time to talk about the English weather or even the Queen because Michelle had to go to work. After the filming had stopped and we were leaving, Michelle said that she wished all the best for the Russian people. With love from England.